And I know Christmas has only just gone, but I like to get ahead of the game and start my Christmas cards early. So as soon as Christmas is gone, I like to start preparing for the next year. So today I'm going to show you how I made my own DSP and created this card. So I'm starting with a piece of card that is 11 3/4 by 8 1/4. Now that's our standard A4 size for those people who are European. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to start off with Evening Evergreen, and I'm using a bauble from the turnover. So any bauble that you got, or in fact anything Christmassy. I have done it monotone, so I've just done Evening Evergreen. So I'm just going to stamp. Now, because this is photopolymer, I'm going to use my stamping mats underneath, because it's better to have the cushion effect to stamp with. So I'm just going to randomly do my baubles all over the place. I'm not particularly looking properly what I'm doing. I just stamp them any way I like. And I've just got that piece underneath that just stops it from going on my mat. Okay, so just do them however you want to. It doesn't really matter, because when you cut it up it looks different again, so just don't worry about how you're doing it, what spaces you are leaving, just put them down. And now just be careful, I keep getting ink on me, so do be careful when you put yours down not to rock your stamp. Take it straight up, because if you're like me building up ink, you don't want that to be going on your paper. So try and keep whoops. Now I am going to go in there and see if I can, with a photopolymer stamp, you very carefully line it up and go back in. It has doubled a bit, hopefully that will get covered up. Now just make sure you get your stamp inked all over. Just keep turning it around, get some going off the edge. Oh dear, went over without my paper underneath, so I've now got inky fingers. I want to move that away a bit. And just keep going. Now this was a set that you could turn these over and fill them in, but I just wanted to leave mine white. Doesn't matter, as say if they go the same way, just do it any way you like. So I'm going off the top. And just keep moving around. I'm going to chuck that back in. I think I can go there. I can come off the side. There we go. There we go. And then I'm just going to look for some white bits that I have got some edges at the top where I can just put a little bit in there. Some at the bottom where I can come in and do a bit there. And just tiny bit there. And I'm happy with that. So that's the first bit. So that was my bauble. And now I'm going to come in. Now this was from the Joy of Sharing. It's a bit difficult. Let me see if I've do it on the right paper. So in the Joy of Sharing, you got this lovely Merry Christmas that I use a lot, this lovely verse and pine cones. You've got this nice like evergreen type foliage, and you've got some berries. So I've got the evergreen foliage, and I'm doing this in what's it called, evening evergreen. So I'm going to do somewhere I put them together like this, and then when I've got a longer bit, I'm just going to stick that there, and a sweet one over there. So you can do it however you want. There's no wrong and right way to do this. So I'm going to stick that one there, but then I'm going to turn it round and stick that on there like that. So I'm going to stick some where they do a V shape. So like this, they're going to be a V shape, and then I'm going to do somewhere, stick one that way, turn it around and go in like that, so it'll fit down the side. So some I'll just stick on their own. It depends how I can get them in. So as I say, it's just very, very random, but I wanted to show you how I did it, because I know some people, I could have just showed you the finish one, but people say, well, I prefer to see it how you did it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm showing you exactly what I did. So I'm going in there. Anyway, you're seeing a white space that you don't like, fill it with your foliage. So just do it until you're happy with what you've got. Everyone will be different, of course, because you won't do two exactly the same. So just bear that in mind. You're not trying to be precise where get everything to be the same. So there's a bit there. And so a bit coming off there. I don't see two big white spaces now, so I'm going to leave that now and come on to the berries. So I did have a small block and I can't find where my small block's gone. So again, put them how you want to. There's no wrong and no right way of doing this. You can have them all different. So I just really love this stamp set. The whole set was well worth getting because the amount of use I have got out of it is phenomenal. Now some I'll do up. Just see how you want them. Hope you've had a lovely Christmas. I actually spent Christmas Day in bed, not being very well, full of cold. So you had a better Christmas than me. But we'd fortunately done our family one on Christmas Eve, so that really worked for me being poorly on Christmas Day. So I could rest up. And then we went to my daughter's on Boxing Day. By then I was feeling much better to go there. Move that in a bit so I can just do the top off there. Then I just need to check, see where there's any missing. So I think I've got that. Now there's still some white spaces, so I go back in and just put some berries in those white spaces. So any white space that's big enough, just stick some berries in there. Oops, that's coming off. It doesn't matter whether you turn them round or not. It's entirely up to you. As I say, it will look different again when it's all chopped up. So you can just go on till you're happy with it. And if you chop it, when we chop it, and you think there's too big a white space on the bit that you've chopped, you can go back in with either of your, well, any of your stamps and redo it. So just do that. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. So I'm going to move that out of the way and then move my ink pad out of the way. I've got any, I think that's tissue paper. I think my wet one here just for my hands while that's allowing it to dry. No, this is completely dry. Okay. Right. Now, what I did ahead of time, because I didn't want to bore you with absolutely going through everything like that, so let's just put these out of the way. So I did have to use two of my stamping mats. Normally you'll see me actually stamp with them still in the bag so that any ink goes on the polythene and I'm able to wipe it off. So I do save going to bring in my trimmer, but I have found that sometimes when you cut in your sheet up, it does work better in centimetres. So for this particular cutting up, I am going to use my centimetres to start with. So on the long side, I'm going to put it in at 14.8. So it's going to go in at 14.8. Is that the one? Yeah, 14.8. And then I'm going to cut that. Okay, so they should be more or less the same size. Yeah, and then I'm going to cut at 7 centimetres. So we're going to have 7 centimetres and cut. That's really going to irritate me, the wire. Sorry about the bouncing. And then 7 centimetres. So you're going to be able to make 6 cards out of one sheet of your A4, which as I've already said is your 11 and 3/4 by 8 1/4. So put that in. So we have got there. So that's how you cut it up, and you have got your full 6 pieces now. Okay, now ahead of time I've done a lot of prep, so I'm going to show you now. You'll need 2 pieces, and again I've done evening evergreen because whatever you do on the colour of your monotone printing, you need to do your card to match. So it's evening evergreen that I've done, and then I've got 2 strips that are 1/4 inch by 5 and 7/8, and I'm going to put it on my card like that. So I'm going to get my card base, which my card base is 8 1/4 by 5 and 7/8. I'm just going to bend that and do this. Now sometimes I like to do it up against my trimmer board, but I've just moved my trimmer board, so I'll do that, and we're going to just bring that in. I forgot the verse for inside, haven't I? So I may as well use the one in here. So it's not that one, is it? Where am I? I've just picked up that stamp set. Here, sorry. I'll do this one and just get a block. Okay, and again I'm going to do evening evergreen to do the inside. So I'm going to bring that back and I'll just put ink all over my fingers now. So that was good. Okay, so just really ink up your sentiment. Okay, I'm just going to test that out. One of the things you can do to actually practice is get a piece of your photocopier paper and have a go first, and then I folded it up into 4 to see what it would look like if I did it as the whole of the card front, and then chose to go for what I've done. So just gonna see if I've inked it up correctly. Yes, not bad. So I'm just gonna re-ink this up. And make sure I've got it the right way. And neat levelish. Just hold it down. Second or 2. There we go. So happy with that. I'm just going to waft this because although our inks do dry very quickly, sometimes the darker inks take a little bit more drying than the other inks. So lighter ink, so I'm just going to make sure that's dry. So then I'm going to fold and burnish the card base. I like to do it on both sides so that it gives it nice crisp. And then I'm going to bring in my cut up piece now and glue that. Now it doesn't matter if it slightly overhangs, because then we can trim that to the card base, so don't worry about that. So we're going to pull that in and make sure it's level, top and bottom. So I'm looking to make sure there's equal increments, and then I'm just going to stick these. Now this is doing what I'm doing by just getting 1/4 of an inch of the cardstock. Obviously you're making these much cheaper than if you were using a whole piece underneath. So I like to turn it on its side and put it completely up against the edge. Make sure it's there. So making sure that was looking okay, and do the same on the other side. And I just feel it gives it that little bit of a lift doing this. Okay. As I say, don't worry about it sticking at the top or the bottom over, because you can see now there is a little tiny bit on there and a little tiny bit on there. So I'm going to let the glue dry and then I'll go back in. So what I've got is a piece of like the berries from, this was from the poinsettia. So any like foliage really, you don't need to use particularly the one that I have used. You can, I'm just giving you the idea. So I'm going to put that roughly in the centre, quite a way up. And then these foliage branches are from the Wishes and Wonder, but again, any foliage that you've got. So any Christmassy foliage that you've got would be great. And I'm just going to put that going on the bottom there, out there. And then this next one, I'm not going to stick as high, so it's giving it a kind of tear look. So I'm just putting some on there, and I'll bring this one a bit lower down. So we note that that one, because this sweeps, this touches the edge of our made DSP, this one comes away from it. Now then we're going to get a tree. So now what I did with this is, when you've done it, sometimes the DSP, you've got kind of white going in there, and I thought I don't quite like that, so I'm going to get, and I've got it on this one. Is this it? No, which colour? I always put I did use that one last time, but I've decided I'm not going to use that. I keep my sponge daubers with what colour I have actually used. So I'll bring in my others. I think that's the clean one. So I'm looking for the Evening Evergreen. Right, is this the Evening Evergreen? Just double check. Yeah, Evening Evergreen. Now I'm not going to re-ink this at the moment, I'm going to say, because sometimes when you've inked it up a lot, then there's a lot of ink left on there. So I'm just going to go round, and this will just get rid of them. It does need inking. So what I tend to do is I have just used all this ink, using that. So there is some there on the edge. So I'm just going to go round. Just pick that up and just go round to give it that bit of shadowing. And it gets rid of that white bit at the edge. I'm just bringing that in. And don't forget you've got some on your stamp that you image. So I'll go on to that, pick a bit of that up as well. Now I'm not doing it on the tree. Oh, I will do a bit on the tree trunk. I didn't on the last one, but so it's just giving it a little bit of shadow. So now, whether you can see it or not, I can see what a difference that does make. It takes off the white edges, so there isn't any, and it just gives it that little tiny bit of shadow effect. Okay, and I'm not going to put any dimensionals on this because I'm being frugal, because I want to make sure that it will go in the post and it will be able to go second class, and it will go fine without me having to stick large letter. Now I am looking at the edge of my Christmas tree and I'm making that level. So I'm coming, is that roughly about, probably just below half there. And ahead of time I have cut out some stars in glitter paper. Now my glitter paper, if you follow me you'll know, I back my glitter paper with the double-sided sheets, and then I'm sure you've got many stars that you can use. This was a star punch. I use punches. I've used the star, and it's about this size, out of the little treats one. Did I get it? I didn't get that one out. So that will just stick and hold in place. And then you'll have seen me make these glitter dots. As I say, all I use is a little 1H punch, and I'm going to get 3. These are going to just go down the Christmas tree. So I'm going to start about there, and I'm just going to have 3 going down. So say these are already backed with the double-sided sticky tape, so sheets should I say, and put one about there, and then that got something there. So that already slipped off. I think that's already come, and that can go down there. Okay, and then I've got a little bow. Now the little bow comes out of the Santa's delivery. It's the die set that goes with that set. Let's put a little bit in the middle, and then I'm going to put that there at the bottom. And again, I'm going to stick another of my dots. So this idea actually came, the joy of sharing that I told you about, that the stamp set that I use a lot, that actual set came with the glitter dots. I've still got a couple left of the original, but I then used my punch and punched in between them, so I got even more glitter dots, and this is what gave me the idea in the first place. So that's why I started doing this, because I thought, now the higher quality glitter paper obviously is going to be better, because the cheaper versions, as you keep messing about with the card, it will come off. So you've got to be careful. This is not an exceptionally good quality glitter paper, so I do have to be careful with it. Okay, now I'm going to get a piece of tear and tape and stick on. I'm going to stick about that much on, about halfway between the tree and that, and stick that on there. Then peel the backing off. I've then got a piece of ribbon that is 4 inches long, and I'm going to stick that even as I can either side. So this is because I prepped it that I've got 4 inches. Now you can see my 4 inches are too big, so I will trim that. But then ahead of time, I have done the Merry Christmas. Now the Merry Christmas is from the Santa delivery. So I've used the Merry Christmas from this, and of course the die for the bow. And I am going to pop that up on dimensionals. So I've got my dimensionals here, and I'm only going to put a couple of dimensionals on this, and only in the center. Make sure that you get them as close as you can to the center. So it helps because with our dimensionals being hexagon, I can put that point to the edge of there so that I'm getting them in the middle. And then we're just going to pop this down in the middle. So just make sure you straighten your ribbon and get it so that you can get it looking at those there and about halfway of my ribbon. And then I'll pop another glitter dot to go on my Merry Christmas. And there we go. And then I just felt that was, I did take a photograph and pop that onto my Facebook post, but I just felt it needed a lift. So I've got the punch from the traditional Christmas punch set, and just really I've used, I'm going to show you in the back there. I've only just used small bits of gold, so I've only just cut like 1/8 of an inch. So let's see, I'm going to get some gold to just show you. So let's see if we can do it on this one. So I'm just popping it in, and when I get about 1/8 of an inch on either side of the gold, I'm just cutting it. There, look. Okay, and that gives you that. So it doesn't take much out of, sorry, it doesn't take much out of your gold. So you've just got that little bit, but I just thought that gave you a little bit of a lift with this. So I'm putting the glue on the back of this, then positioning it in the middle and just tucking it underneath, flat on the card, making sure that there's just that little bit of gold sticking out to just give it that lift. And then try and match that up at the top and try and get the same amount. It's hard with the glare to see whether I've got the same amount. Just the beauty of wet glue, you can just maneuver it a little bit. Show whether it wants to be slightly there. That's it, but I'm happy with that. Okay, so there are your Christmas cards. All you've got to do is just cut the ends. Now, I did get my scissors out. So what have I done with them? They're about somewhere, and I've misplaced them totally. They'll be under something. So going to go for another pair. Okay. So all I do is look to come in to have it level with the edge of the green. So let me show you. So I put an angle, and I'll do it again on this side. So better doing that. So I'm coming in at an angle and going directly to that there, and that gives it that lovely edge like that. So I hope you liked that. Just showing you how to make some Christmas cards that will go flat in the mail, so you won't have to put your first class, or well, you could send them first class. I tend to send them second class, and I won't have to do large letter because they're flat enough to go through. So I've done enough of my materials, because you can do 6 with these. I've now made 2 lots of this sheet, so I can make 12 cards with that. Not sure whether I've got at least 10 that I can make with the ribbons, so I'll at least be making a pack of 10 cards. You'll notice that I've done 2 different Merry Christmases. This Merry Christmas only just fits on, and that's the poinsettia Merry Christmas, whereas the Santa delivery fits on much better, so I've gone with that this time. So the rest of them, as I've already made these, so I'll cut these out of scraps of card, and then I've done that. So thank you very much for watching. Do appreciate that you stopped by. Please give me the thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you won't miss any further uploads. Thank you very much. Stay safe, stay well. Have a happy new year. Bye for now.